thought that tomorrow was guaranteed, or the next at bat was guaranteed, the next pitch was guaranteed. And going through that high of a moment of hitting a home run, and then next thing you know, you're done for 9 months. It's kind of changed my perspective on everything, really, because I would have liked to have been more grateful of those 4 games that I had before I got hurt.
Sycamore third baseman Mike Sears has been through the gauntlet of injuries, from a broken collarbone playing football in high school to hip surgery his senior year before college, yet still found himself on a Division I baseball visit to Indiana State, one he remembers well in 2019.
The first thing that we did is I stayed the night in the hotel, and then we kind of just drove around Terre Haute that night and checked stuff out. And the next morning they wanted us to show up at the field at 8 o'clock, I think it was, Coach Miley. Or it was actually Coach Vanderglass had me show up at 8 o'clock, and we show up at the field and all the infielders are out there doing slow rollers at 8 a.m. And defensively in JUCO, that was probably my worst part of my game. And it was kind of right then, I knew like this is serious and I wanted to come here.
We don't hide the expectation. You know, you see a lot of young guys that have spent their entire life on swinging a bat or throwing a baseball. Very little pride in defense, very little pride in base running, very little pride in being able to throw a pitch where you want, when you want. So I think that's why we don't want to hide anything, because to be successful at this level, you've got to take pride in every phase of the game. And the toughest part to teach initially is pride in defense, pride in offense, base running, bunting, all those things that contribute to wins.
Sears' first year transferring to ISU was the fall of 2020, where the injury bug bit him again with broken vertebrae in his back.
Probably the worst time that I could have done it, because I wasn't cleared to practice until a week before the season started. And going into the season, I felt really good, and we got down to Florida, and the first practice down there, I felt so far behind in the infield, and Smiley was wearing me out. I kind of found out what D1 baseball was at that point, because coming from a JUCO, you think like that you're like just a big fish, and you find out that you're a big fish with a lot more big fish.
I think he expected a lot more from himself. He expected to improve, he expected to get better. And that's a person by person decision. Not everybody comes in with that same mentality. Some come in thinking they're really good and realize maybe I'm not as good as I thought. I think for Mike, he knew he was good, but also deep down knew he needed to get a lot better. To not just play, but be a really good player at this level.
Then a rarity happened for Sears following that spring, an off-season without an injury or surgery. Start of 2022, Sears had 2 home runs through the first 4 games of the season, including one on what would be his final at-bat of the year.
I hit it right off the bat. I knew it was gone. So I was jogging around the bases. I was pumped up because Ohio State, like that's a home state team, and they never said a word to me in recruiting. So I was playing with a chip that game. So then I was running around the bases, and then touched home. Diego was the guy. He jumped up, and I jumped up with him, and my right leg landed on grass, my left leg landed on dirt, and I just kind of like blacked out for a second and then fell down into the fence. Whoever it was made the 3rd out of the inning, and I was like, all right, I gotta get my glove. Like, I gotta go back to 3rd. And I grabbed my glove and I run like 5 steps, and it felt like somebody like smacked me on the side of my knee with a hammer.
Physical challenges were there, but the mental may have been bigger, which is why a new friendship was formed through rehab with teammate Cole Gilly.
I got hurt right before the season started. It was like January 26th during our live indoor practice, and I was throwing live. Ended up getting hurt, felt it, and kind of knew what it was. I was still doing rehab, and I knew he was going to be coming in for rehab, so there was quite a few days where we were both in the rehab, in the training room together, working together, and just pushing each other to like get back. That's what I really liked about it, was having somebody else with like kind of the same mentality of really wanting to get back.
I have a great staff, you know, Jo with baseball, she's great. And we try not, you know, treatment or rehab can be monotonous. It can be the same thing over and over again. We try to keep the training room light. You know, we don't want the training room viewed as someplace like, I gotta go there, I'm not looking forward to go there. So, you know, just really building those relationships with your patients, figuring out what they like. I mean, Mike likes to fish, so, you know, we talked a lot about fishing and, you know, sending me some pictures of fish over the summer that he caught with his girlfriend.
Sears was not only counting the days and hours, but minutes and seconds till first pitch in 2023. Then a dinner heading into the season with Grant McGill sparked a little friendly banter.
Every day, me and Grant we go to dinner somewhere. We always go to eat, and I think it was just like a week before the season. Me and Grant were just sitting down, like talking, and I was like, "How many?" I was just looking at his hair, and I was like, I had just got a haircut. And I'm like, how many home runs do I have to hit for you to go get a haircut? Like, shave it all off. And he was like 15 before the conference tournament. He didn't even think about it. It was awesome.
As Sears clobbers it, this could be the home run that wins him that bet with Grant McGill, and it is. Oh, Mike Sears. He's now got 15 home runs on the year. And Grant McGill may be saying bye-bye to a head of hair.
I think he pointed at him when he was grounding third. He pointed at him in the dugout.
As the Sycamores close out the 2023 regular season, just one win away from an outright Missouri Valley Conference regular season championship. If you look towards the hot corner at Hammons Field, you'll see number 25 taking it all in when he couldn't 1 year prior.
So now every time I step on the field, I always ask God to protect me throughout that day and keep everybody on the field safe that day, because I don't wish injuries on anybody. And that's been a huge thing, to not take anything for granted. And I mean, if this is your last at bat, then make it worth it. You don't know if it could be. I mean, whether it's because of an injury, whether it's because coach pulls you out of lineup, it's just, I think it's important to be grateful for every opportunity that you've got in this game.